Hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to deal with the second chapter of your Vistas book. The name of the chapter is The Tiger King, and the writer is Kalki. Right? So before starting the chapter, I would like to tell you the theme of the lesson. Right? The lesson has two themes. First is the death is inevitable, and the second is man in power become ruthless towards wildlife. Now talking about the first theme, the death is inevitable. What is the meaning of the word inevitable? Unavoidable, sure to come. Right? So as we all know this truth that we cannot avoid death. At its fixed time, death is sure to come to each one of the person who is born here on the earth. Right? And talking about the second theme, it says the man in power becomes ruthless towards wildlife. Yes. If you are a powerful person, you do not care for anything, right? And especially towards wildlife, you become very ruthless. You become very harsh, not concerned at all for the wildlife. So this is what is the theme of the lesson. Now the lesson starts. The story takes place at the state of Pratibandhanpuram. Right? Here a king is born, a baby is born. Right? And he is known by various names like Maharaja Dhiraj, Vishwa Maharaj, right? Jilani, Jang Bahadur, and many more names he is known as. So now when this baby was born, when the prince was born, right, in the states of Pratibandhanpuram, the state astrologer. Who is an astrologer? An astrologer is the one who predicts future, who foretells what will be happening in the future. Right? Yes. So he predicts that the prince will die. Now, as I have already told, that every one of us who is born is sure to die. One surprising thing happening. And what was it? It was the 10 days old baby. Yes, the 10 days old baby, he speaks. Isn't it surprising? It's shocking. Right? We cannot imagine a human baby of 10 days can speak like adults. That doesn't happen. So everybody in the court was shocked and surprised, and then they started looking here and there, and then the prince says, "It's me who's speaking." And oh astrologer, what do you predict? We all know that we all are surely going to die one or the other day. So something great if you want to tell, let me know how I would die. So everybody is surprised and shocked, but at the same time they are awestruck. Why? Because this 10 days old baby is not only speaking, but he is raising an intelligent question. Right? Yes, that's true. You're saying something that I already know. There's nothing great in it. Right? But something great it would prove to be if you tell me what would be the reason of it. Okay? So now the astrologer, he says that as the prince is born in the hour of bull. Now if you know, I don't know, even I am versed in all these things, but we in our Hindu mythology tradition, when a child is born, we make record of all the things like his timing, the day of birth, date of birth, and other details, and then we have a horoscope built for it. In Hindi it is called Kundali, right? So in that everything is stated by the priest who is making it, and he states like which was the nakshatra and all those things. So this astrologer, he says that the prince was born in the hour of bull. Okay. And the tiger and bull are enemies. So what would be the reason for the death of the king or the prince? It would be the tiger. So here at this point, the priest, the astrologer, he gives the reason, the cause of the death of the prince. Right? And the astrologer feels that maybe now the prince would be afraid. He would be afraid of the tigers. But that doesn't happen. Rather, the prince says, now it's the time for tigers to be afraid of me. So slowly now what happens, the time passes by. The prince grows to be a very brave, strong, intelligent and powerful, handsome young man of 20 years. And he is brought up, his upbringing is done according to the English environment. Right? Because at that time the Britishers were ruling our country. So the story is set at that time. And therefore, mostly all the prince and princess, they were brought up in the English style. The manner of eating, dressing, behaving, everything was influenced by the British. So, the same thing happened with this prince also. Right? And one more thing, because the professor, the astrologer had predicted that he would die because of the tiger, after a few years he came, people started calling him the Tiger King also. Okay? So now, he is very young, intelligent, and now he starts thinking about how and what he should be doing. Right? Meanwhile, as he is now grown up, he becomes the king of the state, Pratibandhan Kul. He is now the king. And so, though people did not really forget, but nobody spoke about it. But behind the king, the people used to talk about. Talk about what? Talk about the reason for the king's death, tiger. And slowly when many people talk, some or the other day, the words reaches to the person's ears about whom they are speaking. So the king himself got to hear what the people of his state speak. And then he decided to hunt the tigers. Right? Now, he went on hunting and he hunted the very first tiger of his life. So he was very happy, very excited. Maybe somewhere at heart he felt that he has defeated, he has killed, he has hunted the tiger who was supposed to be the reason for his death. And out of that excitement, that happiness, he went to the astrologer to show him the dead body of the beast, of the tiger. And then he asked, now tell me, what do you say? So at this, the priest said may kill 99 of the tigers, but be aware of that 100th tiger. Right? So that means these 99 tigers or those very first tiger that which you have killed is not going to change the future. You may kill 99 tigers, but that last, that is the 100th tiger, would be the cause of your death. And then the king started thinking, okay, so this is the thing. Fine. And then he takes a decision. What decision? The decision is, he announces to his all ministers that till the time I don't hunt the 100th tiger, no other matter of the state is important for me. I am not going to look towards any of these matters. Right? So, and then what happens? He gets busy with the hunting of the tigers. In his state, that is Pratibandhanpuram, what happens? He bans the killing or the hunting of the tiger by anyone else. That means nobody else other than the king himself could hunt a tiger in that state. Right? So after this, and if anybody would be punished. All his property may be confiscated. The state would take away his property, he would be punished. So because of this fear, nobody dared to hunt the tiger. Now one day what happens? The British officer, a high-ranked British officer, he wants to hunt a tiger in Pratibandhanpuram state. And he sends a message to the king asking for the same. But what does the king do? The king refused and did not allow the British officer to hunt a tiger in his state. Why? Because he knew the reason for his death would be that 100th tiger, and of course he would not allow anybody to hunt the tiger until and unless he completes the number. Right? So now he has refused. Again the British officer Dorai, he sent a message saying, okay, no issues, what we can do is the king can kill the tiger and he should only be taking a photograph with the dead body of the tiger. So this British officer, he was interested in hunting tigers, but more than that he was interested in taking photographs with the dead body of the beast, the tiger. Listening to this proposal, the king gave a thought to it, but suddenly another thing struck his mind, and that was, if he allowed one officer, tomorrow maybe there may be some more officers coming and demanding or asking for the same thing. And then what he would say? So he thought, it is better I don't agree to anything, whatever the British officer is saying. And he again sends a message refusing to the proposal. But as we all know, at that time the country was ruled by Britishers. That means they were very powerful, right? And all these princes and princes, they were under the influence of the British people. Okay, so he was scared at heart. He was afraid. What if these British officers, they attacked his state and they confiscated his state? His kingdom would go from his hand. So he thought what could be done. And as he thought what could be done, he got an idea. And what did he do? The Tiger King next day sent 50 diamond rings. Yes, 50 diamond rings to the wife of the British officer. Can you imagine? 50 diamond rings. Oh. So now, the officer's wife was very happy, obviously, or same with you all. How would you feel? Oh, it's so exciting. Fine. Now, the idea behind sending 50 diamond rings was that the wife of the officer may choose 2 or 3 rings and send back the remaining rings. But, can you imagine what happened? Yes, the officer's wife kept all the 50 diamond rings with her. She did not send back any ring. And after a couple of days, a bill of 3 lakh rupees was sent to the king. Obviously, at that time, receiving a bill of 3 lakh rupees was not something less. But still the king was happy. Why? Because he thought that spending 3 lakh rupees to save his kingdom was no cost or was no value that he had paid. Right? Yes. So he happily paid the bill and was happy. He started again with his tiger hunt. So now he was happy, and slowly the time starts passing by. And his tiger hunting was very successful. In 10 years' time, he had killed 70 tigers. Yes, from the first tiger, the number had gone to 70. Right? He had killed 70 tigers, and then obviously, slowly, the population of the tiger had started going down. Started decreasing. And what does the writer say? Just to create a fun, make the episode a little funny, what he says that maybe the tiger have started using measures of birth control, right? They have started family planning, and because of this, the tiger population has come to an extent. It has been decreasing. So one day, the Tiger King, he summoned his divan, the minister. He called him. He sent a message for him. And then the divan came. At that time when he came, the king was brandishing, the king was polishing. See, looking after means oiling and whatever other things. It was like he was servicing his pistol, his gun. So he says, he asked the divan, are you aware of the promise that I have made? I need to kill 100 tigers. And the number has stopped till 70. So how do you think I will complete my target? Okay. Now, listening to this, the minister gets scared. He's afraid of the gun. So, looking at the gun, the minister, the Diwan was very scared and he like started pleading, "Oh my majesty, please, 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 I am not a tiger." To which the king says, "Who idiot? Which idiot is going to call you a tiger?" And then he feels the king meant that he is a gun. So he says, "I'm not a gun either, your majesty." The king says, "I know you are neither a tiger nor a gun. Why I have called you here, there's a different purpose to it." And what is the purpose? "I wish to get married." The king says that he wants to get married. Again, there is a humor here. The Diwan says, "Oh my majesty, I already have 2 wives. And how can I get married to you?" The king says, "Oh, I don't want to get married to you, you stupid fellow. Why don't you understand? I want to get married not to you." Then whom do you want to get married, your majesty? "I want to get married to tiger." "Tiger? Oh, your majesty, your ancestors have got married to swords." Yeah, that was a tradition, right? Earlier, the kings would get married, or say especially not for the kings but for the princes, they would get married to the sword. And here I would like to bring to your notice, if you have seen the Hindi movie Bajirao Mastani. I'm sure most of you might have watched that movie. So in that movie, if you remember, Mastani feels that she is now married to that dagger of Bajirao, when Bajirao gave that dagger to her. Remember? Yes. So the same type of incident is being talked here about. Now, the Diwan says, "Oh, your majesty, your ancestors got married to swords. And if you want to do something different," and because at that time the king had gun in his hand, so he said, "You can get married to gun." Right? To which again the king says, "I neither wish to get married to a tiger, nor to gun, nor to sword. Nothing. I wish to get married to a girl." Yes, a girl who belongs to human race. And then the Diwan takes a sigh of relief. Okay. So after this, now he says, "Why I have called you here is," the point of calling you here is that I want you to collect the data. Data of what? Data of the kingdoms around me, nearby, and find out which state has got a good population of tiger and also has a princess whom I can get married. Now the reason behind this was, if I get married to a girl whose state is rich in tigers, I can easily hunt. So now the Diwan started its search and he actually found out the girl what was the demand of the king. So finally he gets married, and then whenever he would go to his in-laws' place, he would hunt 5 or 6 tigers and come. Right? So this way what had happened, he had reached 99. He had killed 99 tigers. Now, how many tigers are remaining? Only one. One tiger is remaining. Right? And this is the same. Like I am doing some task and I want to finish up. So I am doing. But that last moment, that last minute, it is so heavy. It is like so difficult to pass that last minute before achieving my target. You feel you need to work more hard. You need to work harder than ever just for that last 1 minute. So the same thing was happening with the Tiger King also. So in our next video, we shall be seeing, did the Tiger King achieve his target? Or did the prophecy of the astrologer came true? So just think over it, and if you want to know the answers, you can read the chapter or wait until the next video. Until then, read the chapter, stay home, stay safe, bye-bye.